yeah, so it's nothing new too. So about this group chat thing, I mean, there's still the odd person that replies every here and there, but I just find it interesting that throughout my life, as I told, like, if people were talking to me and all this type of thing, I'm just thinking of how to word it, okay, so basically, like, you don't go, damn it, I dropped the water bottle. You don't go around looking to lose friendships or to, I think bad people have bad intentions, but let's say, you might have someone that you think that I'll say I'll know, I'll not say think. I used to say think, but then they always used to prove me right. That they didn't like me, but they were being nice, right? Now there's those who don't like you, but they're not a horrible person. They won't do anything to ruin your life. But in every single group, you're going to have those who tolerate you. You're there, but they don't really care if you're there or not. It's not that they're ruthless people. It's just, yeah. And then you have your enemies, okay? And then you have those who are your friends. And that can change. But, there's those, especially between those who tolerate you and then your friends. But then those who tolerate you because they're not your friend, if there's peer pressure towards anyone that's associates with you, they're probably just gonna stay silent. They're gonna stay out of it. You know what I mean? They're gonna stay out of it because they don't have an issue with you, but at the same time, you're not like their friend or anything. So they just want to avoid the possibility of being ostracized. Because no matter whether it was rugby team, church, school, there was always some people that would hear through the grapevine or see that I was spending time and was friends with someone, and then a bunch of drama would start up, not between me and them, but like there'd be a whole bunch of peer pressure for them going against them because just people. From my experience, most people, not all, there's those who do change, like, most people don't change once they've got to high school. But they do become more evolved, more intelligent, more savvy, maybe more merciful and compassionate, more evolved versions of the exact same thing. It's like when they get to high school, it's kind of like that's them at level. I'm just using it, you know what I mean? They just get more and more intelligent, wiser. Some people get more compassionate and merciful as well. Some don't, but they're more evolved versions of the exact same thing. Unless they become bullies because they never used to be bullied, or unless they start to play those social games because they had it played against them, you know what I mean? So those things can change. But every time, and then there'll be all this peer pressure from these people. Why are you spending time with him? What's wrong with you? And then they'll say, so you like him, are you? Blah, 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 blah. That was at rugby, school, church, work. And the funny thing is because they're all backstabbed, not all, but there was quite a few that were backstabbing each other too. And I'm like, what? Yeah, it's just, I think I'm not sure if I mentioned any names, but it's, on here, and I talked about, not about my friendships, but mentioned I was friends with such and such person on the because then you're gonna have the individual chats when you're talking with people too, and those things, and they're involved with that online group. But the funny thing is they've been banned a couple of times because people got upset with what they said. Those individual ones. But then when I posted onto the online group, I won't say its name, there was always one, not always the same, you know what I mean? You might have like one or two people that respond to your post, but it was always one or two people, maybe a few more, and it wasn't always the same people. It was a variety of different people reacting to, and that's how it was going. And then for about a month straight, it was like no responses, no nothing. And then I didn't block it or anything. I just had it still going. It just keeps running. And the thing is yeah, because I get a notification if someone has responded to what I've posted, or someone has responded to one of my friends' posts, the ones that are also my friends on, because these ones I have individual chats with because we're friends in real life. I mean, it says we're friends on Facebook, but I never go on there. But this is nothing new. It's like, well, this is what I went through at school, amongst my own family, church, sports teams, work, and now it's happening in this ADHD, and, well, they're the more social ones. I think that's where I got my sociability from. See, if I had the petrol, I'd be going to that ADHD group tonight. And if they were responding to my posts, I'd still be posting and replying to their posts and stuff. But it just went ghost town for an entire month. And then after that, it was like a couple of people said, like, oh, it's you again. Oh, what the hell? And then the same person was saying, like, look, if you want to say something negative or be a bully, then I'll bully you. And it was just because this girl was like really, like, I'm a big guy, but she's a female, and she was like twice as wide as me and was like fat, and she was saying how like she expected me to make jokes and all this type of thing, and I was just saying, well, why? That's just, I'm just being authentic, being myself. I mean, like, yeah, I laugh along and stuff, but my humor's a bit, someone will state a fact and I'll laugh, because it's like, yep, that sounds about right. Or maybe it's something that used to annoy me, but I've come to accept in other people, or it's become, I don't expect anything else, right? Or maybe something that I didn't know was annoying a bunch of people, and it was myself, and then they said, oh, this pisses me off about you, and I'm just like, well, I'm thinking like that's just who I am, and you're just like laughing because like this person's getting pissed off just because you're being who you are, and I every here and now crack a joke, but I just say, look, like, I don't feel the need to like crack jokes, and she was like, oh, like this and that, and she was like, I'm surprised you haven't asked me out. I said, oh, look, I'm not your type, and I mean, you're not my type, and all that type of thing, Then she went on this whole buzz. Look, I know I'm not attractive, but his personality and blah blah blah. And then I said, look, you have to be attractive as well. And then these other people jumping on saying, hey, if you want to bully someone about their looks, then I'll bully you about your looks. And then that's the only thing that I had, and it was like a month. For about a month, there was ghost town. No one responding. Then I finally got that. And then now that's been 3 weeks, and it's been ghost town, and I barely ever post now. And there's only like a couple of people who talk to me, and that's through the private messages, So it's nothing new, but I know that I'm in a good place, and I'm going to do well in life, so it's all good.